Good morning. My name is Meredith Kirkman. You just tuned into Vail Valley Live and coming to you live from Vail Village. And everything is kind of coming down to a slowdown. But one thing that's not is the river. That is just picking up. So we have a great show for you, letting you know what you can expect this weekend, your mountain report, just all great things that come with this fabulous valley we get to live in. So we have a great show coming at you. Thanks for tuning in. Valley Live starts right now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Vail Valley Live. I'm Trisha Swenson here in the Grand Hyatt Vail Studios. We just saw Meredith Kirkman out there at Vail Village that just shot from the Gore Creek, the covered bridge. And yeah, like she said, things are winding down, slowing down. I kind of equate it to like school wrapping up. You know, we were so used from kindergarten all the way through, you know, if you went to college, you kind of had that cycle where in the spring things came to a close. That's kind of what it feels like. And then we'll all go off and do our summer things and then come back in the fall, just like classes are going to start again when the mountain reopens. But we do close Beaver Creek this Sunday and next week. Now, if you have any questions for us during the show, a lot of people were wondering what's going on with those avalanches, the wet slide in the back bowls. The back bowls closed yesterday as well as Wednesday. Vail Resorts did put out on their social media the best place to check is going to be your Epix app, and that's going to probably have the most up-to-date information. But still, the front side's going to be open, no problem, but they may be keeping some of those areas in the back closed. So if you do want to ask about that, or just, you know, if you have some questions about what's going on at Vail, yeah, put it into the chat. We'd love to have you be a part of our program today. You can chat with us during the live show, 7:30 to 8:30 Mountain Daylight Time, and that is through Facebook or YouTube. Just type in Vail Valley Live into the search bar, and you'll be able to find our show. And then you can watch those shows anytime, like later in the day, in case you're busy getting the kids off to school or getting ready to take a weekend trip. You can put us on, and maybe you're in the treadmill, the gym. That's what I like to do. I like to exercise and get my information. But let's let you know what's going on with weather. We've kind of returned to more winter-like and cooler temperatures, or at least spring-like temperatures. This forecast is brought to you by the outlets at Silverthorne. So we're not going to be in the 60s today, quite a far away from. We'll see our daytime high reach a couple degrees higher than it is right now, right around 40 degrees. And then overnight lows dropping into the 20s. And we've got that chance of moisture today as well. So that is going to be sticking with us. The cloud cover will stick with us as well. And we're actually in a winter weather advisory from now until 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. So 90% chance of a mix of rain and snow today, a 60% chance of snow showers likely tonight, and then a chance of snow showers as we work out of this as we get into Saturday. And we want to let you know what's going on with the winds. They're going to be southwest wind becoming west in the afternoon, but not gusty like they were yesterday. Just maybe 5 to 15 miles per hour. So that is nice. We won't have those winds were just whipping through Edwards yesterday. And then for your Saturday, 30% chance of snow showers, mainly before 9 a.m. And then the cloud cover kind of still continuing with us. And then as we roll into Sunday, sunny with a high into the low 50s. But then the overnight lows are dropping into the low digits, teens, single digits, depending on where you're at. And then for Monday, we'll see sunny skies once again. So next week, we'll be rolling into a sunny period as we close down the last week of Vail. Now, this is the accumulations we're talking about. Maybe 2 inches for Friday for both resorts, maybe 5 inches by Saturday. Maybe so overnight Friday into Saturday is when we could see 5 inches of new snow. That would be great because I believe we're at 337 inches at Vail. I'd love to get above 340. The seasonal average season to date for Vail Mountain is 354 inches. So it would be awesome to hit that. I don't know if we will by the time it's all said and done on Sunday, April 23rd. That is the official closing date of Vail Mountain. They're not going to be extending the season. A lot of people are asking me that, like, do you think they'll extend the season? You know what? We've already been told several times that's not going to happen. So just enjoy spring skiing over at A Basin. I know Copper Mountain extended their season till May 7th. Or you can go out to Lake Tahoe, like our gal Meredith is doing, because Heavenly and Kirkwood and North Star, they did extend their seasons a little bit further. And some of those other resorts are going to do so too. But let's bring it outside to Meredith and see what it feels like today. Meredith, we've had such warm weather. I think yesterday when I started out the show, it was about 40 degrees, which is pretty warm for this time of day.
Yeah, so we are seeing cooler temperatures than this week. So I am wearing, bundled just a little bit because the morning is going to start brisk and the evening will end brisk. And standing right here by the water too, it is a little bit chillier. But man, look at this water flow.
Yeah.
It's really picking up, and it's reminding me of the GoPro Mountain Games that are going to be here in just about 2 months. So it's going to be a good summer with a lot of hydration, water flow.
Moisture, moisture content.
Moisture, there it is.
Yeah. Well, and you know what?
But it was really awesome too. Waking up this morning, it was the first day I smelled rain, so that was a sign of spring. So it was a little bit more rainy down in Edwards, and you're right, that wind was crazy, but we may see a little bit more snow here up in Vail. The cloud coverage is definitely overcast.
Yeah. So now that we're in that winter weather advisory, I think it's a little more, serious than just like cloud cover and maybe a few sprinkles. And we could see that mountain snow, valley rain down below. But our temperatures, with a high of only the low 40s, it is a bit more seasonal. I mean, Monday and Tuesday, I was driving in my car Monday afternoon around 6 p.m. and my car said 70 degrees. I mean, we had the abundant sunshine, so we're not going to see that. And I think that's good because it's a little bit easier to ski when it's not so warm. And Leah, she went out yesterday and she said it was getting a little sticky up there. You know what, Meredith? I got to get my skis tuned. Did you get yours tuned? Yeah, your boyfriend tuned them before your Tahoe trip, right?
Yes, so I'll see how it is. He did some warm wax on it for the spring conditions, and
yes.
I needed it so much. I was sticking. It was crazy. I felt like I was back to like a level 2 skier, almost in a pizza, really slow. Like you ski so differently, and now is not the time to send it because if your body's going faster than your skis, you're going to wipe out, and it's not going to be a good ending for you.
Yeah. And so Leah took those videos from Beaver Creek yesterday, looking good out there. I was out there yesterday morning. I saw that corduroy. Looks like it lasted quite a bit through the day. And Beaver Creek closes this weekend, and that's typical for them to always close a week before, at least, before Vail does, mid-April. But it is bittersweet. I know we've been kind of talking about that, like you're kind of excited for summer, but we're saying goodbye to the mountain closing. But doesn't it remind you of like the school cycle where like the season begins and it feels like going back to school, and then the season ends and it's kind of like, school's out for summer, everyone's ready to just bust out of there. That's what I always think of, is the school cycle.
Absolutely. And when I'm talking to people, it does feel like everyone's excited for spring, summer, a little bit warmer weather, especially when conditions aren't ideal.
Yeah.
And Beaver Creek definitely gets more sun and heat than Vail does. So it's understandable that they're closing, especially when I was at skiing Bachelor Gulch before they closed 2 weekends ago. I understood that they closed for a reason. So we're lucky that Vail's going to stay open for a little bit longer, and then we have summer to look forward to,
Yeah.
and we're really busy from like the end of May all the way through the end of September. So we
Yeah.
are blessed with another great season upon us, and I think right now is just a great time to reflect on what an incredible season we had, for all the events that were back in full swing after COVID, and the beautiful conditions we had. I mean, we had new snow every week. So
Yeah.
we have a lot to be grateful for.
I know. And you know what? With that moisture and seeing the creek just starting to flow a little bit more, they're actually talking. We'll talk about this in headlines in the Vail Daily. But as warm as it got early in the week, it was like, oh, can we see some floods? And so there's already been preparations for that. And speaking of the GoPro Mountain Games that you just mentioned, there was one Mountain Games, I think it was in the late 2000, maybe 2008, 2009, where it had gotten so warm so quickly that they actually had to cancel some of the whitewater events. And right where you're standing, right by the Cover Bridge store and that little t-shirt shop right there, they were putting sandbags out. It was pretty crazy. That water level got pretty high very quickly. So I think having these temperatures back into the 40s and everything, I think that's going to be good for us and everything. So, okay.
Yeah, I was just also looking at the mountain, and Pepe's, it's starting to have a few patches. That's where we
Yeah.
normally start to see some of those holes. And it's really just been in the last couple days. So this week was warm. So a little bit of snow and those cold temperatures, like you said, it's going to be good for us for the next week of skiing. But
Yeah.
man, it is picking up. And speaking about flooding, I heard Utah is flooding too. So
Wow.
fingers crossed that everyone stays safe. I mean, we've seen some record breaking
Numbers.
records,
Yeah.
numbers, yeah, from Utah to California. So fingers crossed that it's not going to end in poorly.
Yeah. And just to give people kind of an idea of what we could see today with this winter weather advisory. So at about 9 a.m., the National Weather Service is saying there's a 57% chance of snow. By noon, there's a 77% chance of snow. And then by 3, there's about a 85% chance. So this is probably going to move in later today. So if you are driving, it'll probably be easier to get to where you're going. And then do be aware of springtime storms, because it usually starts out with rain and then it moves to snow and then that freezes in the higher elevations overnight. So October and April can be some of the craziest storms as far as trying to maneuver the roads. And we'll get to the road report after this. But yeah, I just kind of want to let people know, it's not snowing right now, but we probably are going to see it later on today, according to the National Weather Service and what they're predicting with their
And
winter weather advisory.
3 o'clock is literally when I'm driving to Denver. So hopefully everything will be good for me. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes that's just how timing works out, but fingers crossed we can get up and over Vail Pass and get to Denver
Okay.
safely.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We had a wet slide avalanche in the back bowls Wednesday, and if you've seen the
Crazy.
picture of Milts, it's crazy. I've never heard that happen in the many years that I've been here. I don't think you have either, but it is dangerous in the backcountry right now. I just went on a hut trip on Monday, but like Shrine Pass is very gentle slopes, very wide open. But we're going to give you guys the Colorado Avalanche Information Center's avalanche report right now, just so you can kind of get an understanding of the science behind what's going on and why we're seeing that even inbound. So here's more information.
This avalanche safety report is brought to you by Mountain TV. Watch Mountain TV anywhere with our free Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV apps. Learn more at mtn-tv.com.
Once again, we have an update from Brian from CAIC, the Colorado Avalanche Information Center, and you got a couple updates for us. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, so we are kind of coming out of our first substantial, real pronounced spring warm-up of the season, and that led to an uptick in wet avalanche activity and in avalanche danger. And as you can see here, as we move kind of into Thursday, we're looking at considerable or pretty dangerous avalanche conditions because of this warm-up across all of the Colorado mountains. Now, this is going to change as we move into the weekend. And so what this animation is showing is projected snowfall from the WRF model. And you can see that we get snowfall and colder temperatures that moves in late on Thursday and lasts through Friday. So we're looking at not a ton of snow, anywhere from kind of 5 to maybe upwards of 10 inches in the heaviest areas, but this is going to be a return of winter. And then you can see here, this purple air, which is associated with the storm system, gets to us late on Thursday, lasts through Friday, into Saturday, and then it starts to lift out again. And those greener or warmer temperatures return by the end of the weekend, late on Sunday and into Monday and the early part of next week. So we will have a return of what avalanche concerns as we move into the very end of the weekend and the early part of next week. And we're going to be warning about 3 kinds of avalanches. And I want to show you some examples from last week, because we're going to see more of this likely next week when the warm temperatures return. So we have wet avalanches come in 2 flavors. These are loose wet avalanches, or just cohesionless snow. And we're going to see more of these, particularly with that dust resurfacing, because that enhances the rate of melt and introduces more meltwater into the snowpack at a more rapid rate. And some of these loose wet avalanches can be quite big and destructive. The other kind are wet slab avalanches, like the ones that you can see in these images. And these are going to be even bigger and more destructive because they just entrain more volume of snow. And some of these are, were breaking quite big last week. We may have seen the peak of this stuff, but I would anticipate more of this avalanche activity early next week as well. The last thing we want to worry about are all these really big overhanging cornices. They become easier to break, and it's easier for them to fail when the warm temperatures return. And these things can be really destructive, as this image illustrates here. So the key, when the warm temperatures return, we're going to have a switch to winter for Friday and into Saturday. We're going to have to worry about new snow and drifting snow. When the warm temperatures return next week, it's really the key to staying safe is to travel early and exit avalanche terrain early before these wet avalanches and cornice falls become more likely in the warm afternoon.
Those cornices are massive, Brian. I don't think I've ever seen them formed like that, and we're so excited for spring skiing and snowboarding and, those bluebird days. But man, those are still some gnarly
yeah, these are some of the bigger cornices we've seen in a number of years, and that's just because we've had so much snowfall this winter. So we're talking about cornices like anywhere from the size of school buses to, in some cases, the size of small houses. So these are really destructive. You don't want to be on slopes underneath these things.
And Brian, can you share with us where we can get more info in case you want to check out anything else avalanche safety related?
Yeah, there are going to be some differences depending, how much snow we get in certain parts of the state. So it's going to be important, as always, to check your local avalanche forecast. And you can do that at colorado.gov/avalanche or on the CAIC mobile app.
Thank you for keeping us in the know.
Thank you.
You can always stay up to date with the latest forecast at colorado.gov/avalanche. Enjoy the backcountry and be sure to stay alert and safe out there.
Hi, I'm Peggy Ziegler, fashion guru and stylist for the outlets at Silverthorne. I'm here to share with you an amazing place called the Colorado Welcome Center. We've got fabulous brochures on all the nearby places and towns and things to do right here while you're in Summit County and visiting the outlets at Silverthorne. And of course, pick up your Elite Savings Card booklet, offering you fabulous discounts and a rewards program too. See you soon.
Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery is kind of a one-stop shop. We have everything in-house.
We have cast techs, MRI machines, x-ray, of course, right at the clinic, physical therapy right at our clinic.
I'm going to get to the bottom of what your diagnosis is with all the resources we have, and that's what we do.
At My Future Pathways, our mission is to be the helping hand that enriches and elevates the lives of youth and families of our valley so they can reach their full potential. Through our holistic approach, our tutoring service and programming strengthen our community, develop self-worth, create opportunities, and promote values. We are My Future Pathways.
Welcome back to Vail Valley Live. Time now to take a look at today's headlines for Friday, the 14th of April, almost halfway through the month. And on the cover, expectant parents. Bald eagles check a nest last week in Eagle County. Nestlings are expected to be hatching as the weather warms. So kind of neat to see this picture. This was captured by Rick Spitzer. He's a big contributor to the Vail Daily for all of his wildlife photos, and he captures just the essence of why we love living here in Colorado. So thanks, Rick, for that cool picture today. Headlines for today: will there be floods? After a solid winter, local officials are well underway with preparations for possible spring flooding with an eye on how fast the weather heats up. And we really felt that earlier this week. So here's kind of a look at the snowpack readings as of April. They'll give you some details at Vail Mountain, Copper Mountain, Fremont Pass, and those pictures of sandbagging. The last time local snowpack was this high was in 2019. That year, crews from Red Cliff to Gypsum filled and placed sandbags to keep streams from spilling over their banks. So how fast it'll melt, it's a wild card, but you can learn more about this on page A3. Also in today's local and regional news, making skating dreams a reality. Gypsum breaks ground on a new skate park that is a result of a unique partnership between local youth and the town. So what a cool way for kids to learn some lifelong lessons and collaboration. And you can read more about this on page A2. Also in today's paper, trails in Avon will not open this weekend. So normally April 15th is when we see the trail closures for wildlife come to an end. But this seasonal closure will be extended in the West Avon Preserve and probably many other areas just due to snow on the trails, muddy conditions. Remember that no matter what the date is, muddy trails are closed trails. So you don't want to mountain bike on them, you don't want to hike on them, take your dog for a walk on them. So learn a little bit more about these rules and just the way that we follow them just to be respectful of the trails on page A11. And then sports and outdoors. Wow, what an exciting time in Battle Mountain's track history. So Battle Mountain runners on cloud 9, bottom seeded Bruner and Middaugh run a 8.59 and finish first and second at the Arcadia Invitational 3,200 meter run. Porter Middaugh and Will Bruner crossed the finish line in disbelief after both Battle Mountain juniors went under 9 minutes in the 3,200 meter run at the Invitational. So read that story. So exciting to see that excitement in that photo is absolutely priceless. And then also, it's time for weekend picks. What are you going to do this weekend? Even though the season is winding down, we've got a lot to talk about in today's paper. So everything from live music, we've got closing day at Beaver Creek, we've got a lot of youth performances, we got the art walk happening down Valley. So it's all detailed out for you in the paper today. It's kind of a good guide to just follow throughout the weekend because we have things happening every single day. Gypsum Creek is open for golf. We have Eagle Ranch opening for golf tomorrow. So if you want to do a little ski and tee, it's all in today's paper for you. So there's a look at what's going on in the Vail Daily. Grab your copy, or you can always just go online. Let your fingertips do the walking and get to vaildaily.com. Find today's stories, check out some archive stories. If you don't know about that wet slide avalanche that was in the paper the other day, that's a good resource to head to that website to find out more. But right now, let's take it to the website and learn about travel information. What's going on? seeatrip.org. Well, we're seeing some snow and rain already in Glenwood. I'm looking at the cams down there. So wet and the snow is starting to fall. Now kind of between Walcott, Edwards, and Vail, we don't have much going on yet, and not much happening up on the tunnels, the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels and the top of Vail Pass Summit. Really pretty smooth sailing. There are a few icy and wet spots up in that area in the higher elevations, but the roads are going to deteriorate later on during the day. We have a winter weather advisory happening from now until 9 a.m. on Saturday. So the peak of this, probably around 3 p.m. is when we'll see about an 85% chance of snow in our area, and by 9 a.m., a 57% chance of snow, according to the National Weather Service. So just be aware of this. And like I mentioned earlier, spring storms, wow, they can wreak the most havoc because it starts out wet with a little bit of rain, and then that freezes, and then the snow. We've got a busy weekend, closing weekend, a lot more traffic coming eastbound to get up to the resort. So just be careful out there later on. But let's bring in Meredith and talk a little bit about Vail Pass and construction. So when I came back from, I was up, at that hot trip when I saw you Tuesday morning. When I drove down Vail Pass, the left lane was closed westbound, and they're starting to do all that work just on the hillsides. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I mean, there's some big earth moving equipment. So construction season has started back up again.
Yes, and it's bittersweet. I mean, we don't love the potholes. We appreciate the weather or the road fixtures, but it does slow everything down, especially on Vail Pass. And I remember last summer we had a lot of that construction where they would drop down to one lane, and crawling up a mountain one lane really does slow it down, if you can imagine.
Yeah. But you know what? I hadn't been up Vail Pass in a while, and it was kind of fun to go up there. And as you know, I was on that hut trip. We went up to the Shrine Pass huts, which are 3 huts really close together. There was Jay's, Walter's, and Chuck's. We were staying in Jay's. I'd never stayed in Jay's before. I've stayed in Walter's several times throughout the years, but I hadn't been on a hut trip in a long time. And this is Walter's. So I think it sleeps 6 upstairs and 6 downstairs. We didn't stay in this one, but we were just exploring. This was in the morning. We were getting ready to leave, but isn't that view just amazing? And that was the day that eventually it became about 70 degrees down on the valley floor. And just the pristine views, just so nice to get out there. This is going to be looking at Jay's hut. This was a 3-story hut. And so you have a lower level, you've got the main level with the kitchen and the fireplace and a little living room, and then a couple of bedrooms up in that location. But just very fun to get out there. But Meredith, I finally did my own charcuterie. I've been witness to other charcuteries and have, enjoyed those spreads. But this was the first time that I've done it on my own, and I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. I gotta do it. So we borrowed, one of the gals skinned up in these. There were some Black Crow skis, pink on the top and pink on the bottom, and we're like, that is gonna be the board for our charcuterie board. And it was very fun to put this together. Yeah, so it was very fun to do it. Now, have you done this yet? I know you love to picnic and bring things up and everything. Have you been able to get the spread out on some boards?
Not on the skis yet. My mom was super inspired watching yesterday's show when our friends over at the Vail Daily did it, and she's like, I have never even thought about that before.
I know.
It's really the perfect solution to a picnic.
Yeah.
And making it really aesthetic too. So I don't know what's more beautiful, your charcuterie board or the hut.
I know. It was just such a match, and the people that I was with, they'd never seen that before either. So I think we're going to see a lot of that happening this weekend, either on Beaver Creek for closing day at some of the decks. And pro tip: if you get to a corner of the deck, kind of secure that corner, and then you put your skis or snowboard on that corner, and then it's the perfect platform for the platter of goodies. I just love it.
Yes.
Hey.
Well, now is the time for après. Whether you're doing it on the decks, bringing your picnic, or you're coming down into the village and just enjoying those warmer temperatures, the sun. And I'm keeping the theme of looking at some river views.
Yeah.
And I'm actually on the El Segundo deck.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one of our favorite decks to après on because you just get so much sun that comes right here. You look at the International Bridge right there, and their tacos and margaritas.
Yeah.
Good.
Meredith, another pro tip is when you're choosing a deck for afternoon après ski, you really want to look at what building is next to you to the west. Because as soon as the sun goes behind that, you're going to be cold. I think El Segundo has the best deck because it's basically that creek all all the way. I mean, you're going to have sun for a long time because once that sun goes down, it does get chilly on those decks. So choose your decks wisely and look at the structures around them and how it's going to affect you once that sun goes down. Beautiful, beautiful, Meredith. Hey, we're going to let you go. We got a lot more to get to in the show. And then later on, we're going to have that interview with Nick Parr and the Selfless Lovers. They are going to be coming to the Shakedown Bar Vail this evening. So stick around. We've got a lot more to share with you.
Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery stands for providing the highest quality care to our unique patient population here in the mountains.
I think that what makes us unique is that we really are practicing groundbreaking techniques, yet, we practice it in a small town environment. Our patients are our neighbors and our kids go to school with their kids.
I think every one of our docs treat their patients like their family. Our goal is to keep you active, doing the things you want to do, and we'll map out a road to success to get you there.
Join us every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and watch Vail Valley Latino. Our goal is to elevate the voices of the Latino community in the Eagle River Valley and provide a platform to speak with local businesses, organizations, entrepreneurs, creatives, and much more. Find the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Outside Television Channel 17. We are Vail Valley Latino.
Welcome back to Vail Valley Live. It's going to feel a bit more winter-like out there, which is actually good for our snow, to kind of preserve that snow as we wind down the last weekend at Beaver Creek. It closes Sunday, and then Vail will close the following Sunday. And, because this time of year, you don't want to get injured because summer is just around the corner. You want to be able to get out there and hike and bike and golf and that sort of thing. But if you do get injured, it's nice to know that we have some of the best care in the world right here. And we're going to talk to one of the doctors from Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery now. It's one of our segments that we call Ask the Doc.
Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Nurki with Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery. I'm an interventional physiatrist focusing on sports and spine medicine, and I'm here to help answer some questions with Vail Valley Live. All right, so our first question today is, when do you recommend injections over surgery and vice versa? So certainly this is a fairly complex question, and individual patient treatment plans are really developed in consultation with the patient in the context of specific diagnoses, severity, and underlying health factors. Generally speaking, chronic degenerative issues such as arthritis can be managed for several years with injections, whereas traumatic injuries or more severe degenerative issues often have to be managed surgically. But proper consultation with your physician will help come to the right answer on this question. All right, so our next question is, how long after an injection can I ski? So this really depends on the underlying diagnosis and type of injection that a patient receives. Typically speaking, we recommend at least a few days of relative rest after an injection. Our next question today is, can injections delay my need for surgery so I can get through the ski season? So this is actually a very common question that we get up here in the Vail Valley. Very commonly for chronic degenerative conditions such as arthritis of the knee, which is exceptionally common here in Vail. We are able to manage patients more conservatively to allow them more ski days through the winter, and patients often will defer surgical management to our mud seasons. All right, so our next question is, what is platelet-rich plasma and how does it help? So platelet-rich plasma is a relatively new treatment in orthopedics that utilizes blood platelets from the patient to deliver growth factors in an effort to improve pain and function related to typically chronic degenerative issues such as arthritis of the knee, chronic tendon and ligament injuries. It's also used as an augmentation to surgical procedures to aid in healing. Our next and last question is, why do you use ultrasound over blind injections? So typically speaking, image-guided injections are more accurate than blind or palpation-guided injections. There is some variability there, particularly in the knee. That's not necessarily the case, but particularly for deeper injections, imaging guidance ensures that the medication that the physician is injecting is delivered directly to the site of injury or pain. This has been Dr. Matthew Nurkey with Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery. Thank you for your questions, and thank you, Vail Valley Live.
This Weather and Mountain Report is brought to you by Vail Summit Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, keeping you active. All right, thank you, Dr. Nurkey, for that Ask the Doctor report. Always good information, and go with the pros if you aren't feeling up to snuff, or if you do get an injury, of course. But let's let you know what the weather's going to be like for today. We've already got that cloud cover rolling through. We haven't really seen the moisture hit our area yet, but I was looking at some of the road cams. Glenwood Springs, Eagle, it is moving into that area now. And we're seeing temperatures pretty mild, 34 degrees as we start the day. 41 will be where we kind of top out at, which is actually kind of good. It's not going to be so warm where it feels like summer. It's going to feel a little bit more like spring skiing for today. 25 degrees up on the mountains of Vail and Beaver Creek already. And we'll see us hit about 30 by noon today. Now, we're in a winter weather advisory according to the National Weather Service. We're going to have a rain and snow mix depending on what elevation you are at. And then a lot of that snow is going to start to come in kind of after 1 p.m. A little thunder could be heard out there as well. So just be aware that you're not hearing things. It's actually a spring phenomenon that does happen pretty often. Now, maybe 1 to 2 inches out of today, but now tonight we could see maybe 1 to 3 inches, and then about mid-morning tomorrow. And then Saturday, we'll see mostly cloudy conditions with a high right around the upper 30s. And then for Sunday, sunny and warm again. So it'll be a good day for some ski cootery up at Beaver Creek for closing day. But let's bring in Meredith and find out where she is and talk a little bit about some of the events and activities that are going on, because we have a lot happening this weekend.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm here in Shakedown. I have exciting stuff to chat about Shakedown in a little bit, but on the element of music, we have a big concert happening at the Villar Center, and I think it's sold out, so you can't get tickets online, but maybe there's a time to, check Facebook or some of your friends and see if there's any tickets you can get your hands on if you're really wanting to. I know our producer Rachel is going to this concert, and the Wood Brothers, they're very iconic.
Oh yeah, definitely. With one of them being in Medeski Martin and Wood for many, many years, and it's just going to be a great show. It's no surprise that it is sold out. So it's been sold out for a little while now. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. She's like, "Hey, I've got an extra ticket, but I can't go. But I think she's going to take her dad." And I said, "Yes, take your dad. He's going to love the show." And we were talking about how lucky we are to have the Villar Performing Arts Center here, and she hadn't seen a show in a while either, and she's like, "I'm just so excited to go back." So Leah, you're gonna go to the show tonight? No. Oh, Rachel's going to the show. Okay, awesome. Well, she's going to have a good time there. And the Villar Center, we are winding down that season, but we're excited about what's coming up in June. So that's when we're going to ramp things up again. Lyle Lovett and his large band, Toe the Red Sprocket, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They've got some repeat performers and then some people that have never quite been to the Villar. And what shows have you seen at the Villar? I know you probably have seen a lot of the dance festival.
Yes, I absolutely love seeing dance in there. I've also seen a lot of the community performances, the different organizations. But concerts are really cool to see at the amphitheater. It's so well equipped and it's such an intimate space to see some artists. And then, I've seen magician shows there. They really bring in all sorts of acts.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? There's a lot of shows that are going to be performed all over this weekend. The kids have been playing, the kids have been practicing. I know you had Mamma Mia over at Battle Mountain High School just a few weeks ago, and Vail Christian is going to be doing Big Fish next week. But the Vail Youth Ballet Company is doing their spring showcase. That's one of them. The Skating Club of Vail, they're going to be on the ice. They're going to be doing all this music through the decades, set to costumes. Just everything is just going to be on fire as far as the youth performances this weekend.
Absolutely. I haven't seen much of the skating, but I have seen the ballet company's rehearsal. I coached one of their rehearsals, and it is going to be such an incredible show. These dancers are pre-professional. You're going to be sitting almost like in a professional show. They brought in professional choreographers, which really elevates the whole show, and it's all kinds of dance. And then they have some student choreography as well, and this is all going to take place at the Vail Mountain School, and it's a great auditorium over there down in East Vail too. You definitely don't feel like you're in school.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
And then Meredith, another event that I've never even really heard of this, but so the Metropolitan Opera out of New York, it's been around for like over 100 years. They are doing the Met Live in HD. This was actually started in 2006, where they would take their operas and show them in movie theaters all across the nation. And Chasing Rabbits is going to be one of those theaters. And it's on Saturday. And in New York time, it's at 12 noon. So 10 a.m. is when they're going to be doing Richard Strauss. He's a German composer. They're going to be doing Der Rosenkavalier. And that means the Rose Night, the Night of the Rose. And it's a comic opera, but it's pretty long. But I think this is so cool that if you want to get a taste of some culture straight out of New York City, they're going to be doing this at Chasing Rabbits, and it's the Metropolitan Orchestra. This plot line kind of follows the Marshallin, who's in love with a younger man, and she knows that he's probably gonna dump her later on, and then her nephew is trying to get engaged, and there's it's it's wit and philosophy. It's kind of everything weaved together. So I think this is going to be pretty cool, and if you could take part in this, go to Chasing Rabbits Saturday morning. But it is long. It's like an 80-minute first act, and then they have a 30-minute intermission followed by two more acts that are 65 minutes long with another 30-minute intermission. So it'll take up a good part of your afternoon, right around till about 2:45.
Well, and the atmosphere really matches the fanciness of seeing the Metropolitan Opera.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing Rabbits is a really cool lounge space. There's a speakeasy, an arcade bar, so it's a little bit more of like a club feel. It's a cool time, and if you're looking for some unique drinks, they definitely have it. It comes with a price, but very special drink.
It does come with a price, and they've got that one that's in like a glass boat, and I think there's smoke coming out of it. I mean, there's stuff that they like reveal, and then like smoke comes out of it. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you should definitely check out that. But I think it's really neat. Then they'll be doing more of these, the Met live in HD. So follow Chasing Rabbits on the social media or go to their website. I think there's another one this spring. But what a neat experience. I mean, you're seeing it as it's happening. I mean, in New York, it's 12 noon and everything. So it should be pretty cool. So.
Absolutely. A lot of different entertaining opportunities off the mountain. Of course, you're going to catch a lot of opera music at different bars here in the village. And one of them is right here, Shakedown, which is right behind me. It's right next to Blue Cow, which is a great place to grab some food, some really nice hot dogs. They have amazing hot dogs. And then they have a really great sandwich place right there too, but that will close. Big Bear. It'll close during the day. But Shakedown is such a great bar to catch live music. I mean, it's one of the iconic venues here that's kind of got that dive bar feel, and it's quite quaint. You can't fit a ton of people in there, but these are some nice shots. It gets to be a packed house, and I'm sure tonight will be a packed house.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And we're talking to Nick Barr of the Selfless Lovers. They'll be playing the show this evening. And, Scott Redner has done such a good job with everything and really promoting the music and even doing things with their MAPS music program, get youth involved and even young adults involved and kind of on a career track, whether it's a singer, a songwriter, a musician, or, just someone that's, behind the scenes, working the soundboard. It takes quite a few people to keep that music industry going, and it's neat that Scott Redner and his crew have done a lot. That came out of the pandemic, and it's one of those things that stuck around. But hey, we got to take a break because I think we're going to get Nick on the line, and then we'll be talking more about live music at Shakedown Bar Vail.
We believe in the power of a live performance. We believe in making memories together. Join us as we celebrate 25 years of moments that last a lifetime, bringing concerts, comedy, Broadway, classical, dance, and family entertainment in the heart of the Rockins in Beaver Creek Village. View the full lineup and get tickets today. villarpack.org.
Welcome to Nap Harvest. We are showcasing healthy habits, and you can start right here feeding your family healthy organic vegetables and fruits that are seasonal and local. They're all the way from Arizona with our wonderful, beautiful citrus fruits that we sneak across the border for. But don't forget our nap mushrooms, grown at 9,000 feet. Mushrooms are chock full of benefits for you. And then also the microgreens, all chock full of vitamins. Come see us at Nap Harvest in Eagle, Sylvan Lake Road next to Colored Coffee. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturdays and Sundays, 10 to 4.
Welcome back to Vail Valley Live. On the line now, we have Nick Parr. He is with the Selfless, the band that's coming to Shakedown Bar this evening. And I believe he's waking up down on the Front Range. Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Still waking up.
Hey!
Hey, yeah, I'm doing great.
Good
hey.
morning. Now, are you in
Good morning.
Are you in Fort Collins? Is that where you guys played last night?
We played Fort Collins and then drove Boulder, and now we will be driving to Vail.
Okay, perfect.
So,
all right. Well,
that's music.
I know, that's the music business. Now, have you played in Colorado before? I know you've been all over the South and Texas and everything. Have you played here?
Yeah, so we've this is going to be our second time touring Colorado, and last year I just wanted to make it a priority to get out here because it's such a beautiful state and there's so much energy when it comes to music. Like there's such a music culture.
Yeah.
And you just really want to get in on that. And there's lots of good beer festivals too, so it's fun to hang out here.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, and you know what? And to be in, Fort Collins, a college town, and then come up to Vail, to a ski town,
Right.
it's such a melting pot of people that are here from all over to enjoy the skiing.
Yes.
And then they hear you for the first time, and then when you come to their town, they're like, "Oh, we got to go see Nick Parr and the Selfless Lovers." So it's a great way to gain a lot of exposure.
Yeah, I think so. And also playing different kinds of towns, you get a chance. Yeah, you get a chance to meet different kinds of people, right? And I mean, we played a little spot in Fort Collins last night, and you have older people and younger people that are getting up and dancing, and it's just it's a really cool thing to see that.
Okay, well, I think we're going to be getting up and dancing. I've seen a lot of your videos on Instagram and Facebook, and it sounds
Right.
like a high energy band. I know that you play piano and saxophone, sometimes at the same
Yes.
time. So,
Yes.
yeah, explain your vibe to our viewers.
Yeah, so I always wanted to make a show that I would go see, right? That's kind of the concept. So it's almost like Bruce Springsteen rock and roll meets James Brown funk.
Yeah.
James Brown soul. So I want something that if I was an audience, I would come in and really get up and dance and have a good time. And also me being I started off as a piano player, kind of Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, old school rock and roll piano guy. And so it was like, how do I build a band around that? And that's kind of what's happened.
Okay.
So it's like disco, rock and roll, funky stuff. It's awesome.
One sound, and it's going to be moving. It'll be packed and rocking tonight. And now you guys are also touring, promoting your new Promised Land and
Yes.
your new single, So Far Gone. So tell us process. You've had a couple of albums and EPs out in the last couple of
Right, and so I think we put out an album that was almost a live album. We recorded it all live with analog tape, and that was cool. And then Promised Land was kind of an album where I was like, I want to write some real stuff and see if I can be an artist. Because a lot of times when you're first getting started, I love making people dance, but you're doing people up and dancing, and that's what the songs are.
Yeah.
And then I think as you get a little bit more into your career, which we've played like 700 shows over the past 5 years. Now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, what do I want to say? I want to know, and what life have I lived? And that's kind of what Promised Land is about. Is more driving around this whole country and meeting different kinds of people, and a little more on the life that we're all living here in this country in America. That's a little different than just let's get up and dance. I mean, it's still fun, but there's a little more to it. So Promised Land single So Far Gone. That's kind of a song, but it's about driving out to Mississippi, driving out to the South, and just things like that, getting on the road. So, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about your history, and I know that you started playing piano, and your grandma
Right.
even told you to play the sax. But what, like, hey, I'm gonna go into this as a career. Like, I'm a path and be in an office
Sure.
and that kind of thing. How did that all come about?
There's a few things. I've played piano by ear since I was a little kid, so I could always keep up. My dad plays by ear, so I was always around it, and I always had this sense of music being really exciting. Like, oh, look how much fun this is, and you see these, right? Like Elvis, or Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones. You see this kind of, and it's so much fun. So I always knew music was fun, or Stevie Wonder. You'd see that kind of thing. And then when I was about 19 or 20 and I was in college, I was at UT Austin and I was going for business. I would kind of at night, I would take a saxophone and go out to these old blues clubs. And I'd meet all these old guys that play blues music. And once you get on stage a few times, it's just a really exciting experience and feeling that connection with an audience. For me, I could never do it halfway.
Yeah.
So, once I had that, you get on stage, you're like, wow, that's fun. And then it's like, oh, gosh, I got to go back. Oh, I don't know about that. Let's just. And I think also the thing I think for a lot of musicians, they have to come to this conclusion where you're going to work just as hard at your day job as you're going to work building your music career.
Yeah.
Because it's hard work either way.
Yeah.
So you might work hard at the music career and make it your job. That's kind of how I looked at it.
Now tell us who's going to be on stage with you. Tell us about the other members of the band and the sounds that they create.
So we've got Keegan Flynn on the guitar, and on my Instagram, if you see him, he looked kind of like Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's got the cool hat, and cool hair. And then we've got Daniel Warner on the drums, and he kind of is like he's in the Matrix, so he's got the cool sunglasses and the big coats. And I think that's us when we were a young band, but on my Instagram, and then Evan Durr on the bass. And these guys, they're all just super talented guys, and we've had hundreds of shows together to really hone this to where now we can all kind of read each other's minds, and I can do something, and they know what I'm going to do because I don't write set lists. I just kind of call out songs, and we're really it's like a basketball team has a lot of games together. We really know each other now.
Oh,
So,
we love it.
yeah.
Okay. Now, have you played up in Vail? I know you've done a Colorado tour, but have you played at altitude before?
I've never played Vail. I've never played Shakedown. A lot of this stuff, getting into the mountain towns is new territory, so we're excited to be there.
Okay, I'm just going to warn you, we're at about 8,100 feet above sea level, and I know the wind instruments, the saxophone, you might want to see if there's some oxygen nearby.
Okay. I was feeling it even last night in Fort Collins. I just being up here because I'm originally from the Gulf Coast. Like I'm a Texas guy, but I'm a Gulf Coast Texas guy, Corpus Christi, and that air is very swampy and dense. And so, to be in, I remember I'd be on stage and I was like, man, I'm tired. Why am I so tired?
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
Drink plenty of water today when you're heading up,
Okay.
and chapstick and everything. But you're gonna have a great time. It's a really fun venue, and it's gonna be a great show. We're so doors open at 9, right? And then you'll start the music at 10.
Yes, from what that's what I know. So, and also, I would say for people that are curious, or if they see this and they want to hear the music, you can find us by just The Selfless Lovers, or I'm on Instagram at Nick Parr Music and Parr. That might be some of the videos you've been seeing. Either one, Nick Parr, but The Selfless Lovers is what's on Spotify.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I had so much fun. I was watching videos, and I told our producer, I said, we got to get them on this morning. So I'm glad that you took the time. I'm sure it was probably a late show last night. And drive safe. Just know that there's going to be some snow probably falling later on. So if you get an early start, I think you'll be good to go. And then you can kind of check out the town before you start playing too.
Well, thanks. We're really excited to get out there, and I really appreciate you. It means a lot as a musician to get on these kind of things. So thank you.
Well, you are so talented. The whole band, it's so great. So I really tell everyone, you got to go to the show tonight. Shakedown Bar, Vail. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Nick. Drive safe.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you up here tonight. Okay.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. All right, fun times. It's going to be great to head out there. Should we head out to Meredith, or do we need to do a break or another weather? Okay, we'll do a quick break and come back with just a bit more. We are back. I want to give you one more look at the weather before we send you on your way. This is brought to you by the Grand Hyatt Vail. I want to remind you that Chair 20, which connects Grand Hyatt Vail to Vail Mountain on the western side, that will be closing as of this Sunday. So different things to just think about so we can keep you updated. And you know what? A few other things to let you know about too. Check the Epic Mix app, because that is going to give you the most up-to-date information on what is going to be open. You know, we had that wet slide in the back bowls on Wednesday that closed the back bowls on Wednesday and Thursday. So the front side is open. That's all fine. But you may want to just check Epic Mix app to see what lifts they're going to have open for you as well. So, but let's let you know what's happening with our ever-changing weather. We are in a winter weather advisory between now and 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. We won't really see a lot of that moisture come in. It could be rain and snow from 11 to about 1, and then after 1 p.m., it'll probably just turn to snow. A little thunder is also possible, comfortable, and we're going to have a high in the low 40s. The winds won't be too bad today, just 5 to 15 miles per hour out of the southwest, becoming west by the afternoon. Maybe 1 to 2 inches today, maybe 1 to 3 tonight, and then tomorrow the snow will kind of wrap up. The clouds will still kind of hang around, but then by Sunday, we're going to see some sunny skies for Beaver Creek's closing day. Looking at the snow totals, maybe 2 inches kind of out of this, and then maybe up to 5 by tomorrow. So we'll see if we can squeeze some out of that and maybe get into the mid 340s. We're at 337 inches for Vail right now and 322 for Beaver Creek season to date. Let's look at your weather. Let's bring it outside to Meredith and find out what she has discovered out there roaming around Vail Village. All right, what's the vibe? What's going on at Mountain Plaza?
It is pretty quiet here, not gonna lie. For a Friday, we can definitely feel that the crowds are starting to diminish, but maybe it'll pick up during the day. We don't have anyone in line yet, but it is open, and so everything opened at 8:30, and lifts will run till about 4 p.m. But if you are in the back, depending if it's open or not, it's a little bit up in the air. So checking that Epmix is going to be your best resource, but those close a little bit earlier, and we can't ski Blue Sky Basin because that is closed for this season too. So just be aware, but there's still plenty of acreage to ski on the front side. I've been mostly going on like chair 3, chair 4, chair 2, chair 11. And then Lionside has actually been skiing well too. So those are kind of the areas that I've been recently skiing in the past couple days, but you can see that this is getting a little bit patchy.
A little thin up there, and this is very typical. And I mean, I'm surprised we made it all the way to mid-April with not seeing a little bit of dirt, because it's very steep. Those are very steep areas, and so the snow get a little thin in that area. And then Meredith, we have to remind people: wax your skis. You need a lot of wax with this spring snow.
My friend, actually, I haven't seen this before, but he had kind of a temporary spray-on wax. I don't know if you've seen that before, so he kind of took his skis off and he sprayed it like right on the mountain, and he's like, yeah, this is kind of a spray wax that temporarily can fix it. But there's so many different ski shops here that you can bring your skis to. They can tune it up for you, maybe even drop it overnight, pick it up in the morning. So we don't often talk about that throughout the season, but right now is definitely the time to get a wax.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? You might need to wax it for this weekend. If you're skiing during the middle of the week, wax it again, and then wax again by closing day. I mean, it's amazing how much that granular snow just kind of rips that wax out of there. So wax. You can never do enough of it in the spring for the conditions that we're seeing. But I think today, probably from mid-mountain up, it won't be as sticky, just because we're going to have cooler temperatures. We'll have, the sunshine won't be there to melt it down. So I think today and tomorrow we'll feel a little more spring-like and not summer-like, like it was on Monday when it was 70 degrees. So, hey, but I know you're heading out to Tahoe. Did you I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday. So have you planned your route? I know you're there several days. Are you going to try to hit as many ski areas as you can?
Yes, I think we're going to ski at least 3 mountains for sure. Yeah. We're definitely going to be skiing the Palisades, which you corrected me on. It used to be known as Swamp. Yeah. So we'll be skiing that. That's right where our Airbnb is. And everything else is still in the air. So I'll be documenting the process and share it back. I can't wait. This is the first time that I've ever flown with my skis. It's maybe sounds crazy to other people who do that often, but here in Vail, we didn't need to. We had these mountains. We had Vail, Beaver Creek, and I've gone out. I've gone to Keystone now, and A Basin, and Telluride. But first time flying with, so I didn't even really know how to pack my ski bag. So I feel like a newbie.
Well, I know. You know what? One time I flew to go to Whistler, and the same thing. I'm like, boot bag. Like, I don't have a boot bag. I didn't have one of those. So, yeah, when we live here in the middle of the Rockies with some of the best areas surrounding us, it's kind of hard to be thinking, wait, you almost have to borrow this stuff from other people. And Meredith, speaking of going to sports, I'm going to go over to Aspen tomorrow. I have some friends, some discount lift tickets, so we're gonna do a little skiing there. I think we're actually golfing in Carbondale on the way back on Sunday. So we do have Gypsum Creek open today. Eagle Ranch opens tomorrow. So that ski and tee, you could ski in the morning, golf in the afternoon, which is kind of a fun little phenomenon. It's not very often that those two sports and the seasons collide, but when it does, it's fun to say you did it.
Absolutely. Well, Aspen will be a great time. That's closing weekend, so there'll be a lot of parties. We have some friends going to Cloud9 with some tables, so that'll be a big
Bring
party.
your cash. Bring your cash.
Yeah.
And an outfit you don't care if it gets sprayed on by champagne because you're going to get dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be an awesome time.
Yeah. I don't think we're
And
going to Cloud9,
closing,
but
yeah,
maybe
you definitely should.
Maybe we'll ski by it.
Ski by it, see the vibe. Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be good vibes over in Beaver Creek too, because this is a nice reminder that Beaver Creek is closing this weekend too. Sunday's the last, so you'll see lots of fun outfits on the mountain and different party vibes too. So just time to celebrate and have a good time here in the springtime in the valley.
Yeah, and then, we're so lucky to have summer to look forward to and everything going on there. Yeah, so I think Ken Hovey is going to be our live reporter, reporting from the Beeve. Ty Diaz will be in the studio, so it should be a fun show. Tomorrow, since you're running out of town, we're going to have Heather in the studio, and Megan will be reporting live. So we've got a few more days, and then we will be, of course, live all the way through Vail's closing day, which is Sunday, April 23rd. We want to thank everyone for watching today, and I guess bon voyage, drive safe and fly safe and ski safe, Meredith. Okay?
Thank you so much. I'll come back with a nice little video report.
Perfect. We can't wait to see it. All right, everyone. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 7:30.